Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Black Accountant. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and leave a comment of any kind of content you want to see going forward. It's your boy Mo, and let's get into it. So excuse the mess in the back. This is actually from me packing up to move. I'm actually going to be moving sometime next month or the month after that. So I'm just kind of preparing in advance. But today I want to talk a little bit about friendships, especially as they pertain to people who recently graduate from college. A lot of people in my circle really complain about this, and I see them struggling with it because you don't feel as connected and you suddenly find yourself somewhat alone. And aside from the pandemic, there's a lot of other reasons, and this is just something that typically happens anyway after college. And I kind of contributed to four main things. So I'd say number one is distance, two is goals, three is responsibilities, and four is different pages. So when I say distance, that's the very obvious one. You're no longer in the same environment. Out of sight, out of mind is a saying for a reason. Because the longer you go without seeing somebody, the more acclimated you get to them not being around. It's just something that naturally happens, you know. College is something that united you, or was something that united a lot of people, and it was really a social circle because you'd see the same people every day because you all had the same reason to be there. Aside from whether or not you paid attention in class, that's a whole other story. But this is where you would meet people, typically speaking, who were your age, who were also headed towards the same things, who also had the same goals. And then that leads into step number two, the reason number two. People have different goals, especially right at the period after college. You have your degree. Now it's up to you to really pursue whatever it is that you're trying to do in life. And a lot of times, this is where people's goals start to diverge. What you want to do with your life may not be the same thing that the other person or other people in your friend group wanted to do with their life, regardless of whether or not you hold the same degree. It doesn't necessarily mean everybody wants to follow a linear path of X, Y, and Z of what they want to do. Also, other people have different types of commitments. And I would say that's number three there, which is responsibilities. And I think responsibility is a really big part of it because as you get older and older, and depending on the type of school you went to, at a commuter school, typically speaking, you have a wide range of people. Typically speaking, there's a lot of older people who save their money to go to college versus a state university where it's usually people coming in directly out of high school, using a lot of financial aid and student loans to finance those options. So whatever your friend group might be, a lot of times the responsibility does play a really big part. Since you now are responsible for your bills, you're responsible for your taxes, you're responsible to do a lot of things that you might be overwhelmed with, where you're trying to learn how to do a lot of different things and types of tasks, and it consumes a lot of you. You don't really have as much time to lollygag or sit around and have like kikis with friends. Your life path is evolving. And that's also, I think, step four. When you say people are on different pages, a lot of times people underestimate or overestimate their friendships, where you feel like, oh, this person is so close to me and this and that, without ever confirming it with the other person. You can't lean on somebody a lot and really like them and being in their presence, but you're not sure if it's the same for you. If you guys don't have that same level of proximity or closeness, both people aren't valuing the relationship the same way. And that's part of a thing with college as well, is a lot of those friendships were formulated based on the fact that you were going through the same struggle with classes, with grades, with clubs, and the same degree. But once you graduate, some of these people, you realize you don't have as much in common as you had initially thought. Beyond that, because you don't have the same thing that you're working towards, you don't have that same struggle that united you, and you also don't see as much of a need. So this is just things that naturally happen after you graduate, and it's not really any kind of hard feelings. And of course, there's always the relationships that you are able to maintain. And I think if any relationship is that important to you and you feel really distraught over it, having that kind of conversation with that person does a lot more than you think. You know, if I want a relationship with somebody that was friends with in college, I'll make sure to call and check up on that person frequently. You know, and frequently depends on whatever the agreed upon definition is for you and whoever it is that you're talking to. For me, I understand a lot of people in my age group and also a lot of people that I'm friends with all have different goals and are all trying to do things. So, you know, I make it a habit to check in at least once every week or once every couple of weeks, depending, because I know this person is occupied and busy. At the same time, not every conversation needs to be long and drawn out. We don't have to sit there talking for an hour or two. It could just be like, hey, what have you been up to? Here's like a quick catch up on what I've been up to. Here's what I've been up to, you know, and that could take anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes and, you know, you're good. I think the best types of friendships are those where you haven't seen each other in a long time, and when you do link up or when you do see each other, it's like nothing ever happened. It's like there was no time difference in between where you hadn't seen each other. It's just like resuming like a normal every other day or any other interaction. That's all I can add for this video. Let me know in the comments, is this something that you struggle with? Is this something that you might have been going through recently? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.